Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Works You Collect Compulsively. Works I collect compulsively. Well, as you can see, I do a lot of compulsive collecting, but there are certain works that I just love and which I just want to hear every new version that I can, or just about every new version that I can. And I have like billions of them floating around, and I'm going through my random piles, and more of them keep popping up. But this is one that is truly special and near and dear to my, well, they all are near and dear to my heart. But we've talked about this a lot, and I thought it was time to actually sit down and say to myself, Dave, which are the five, because this is the maximum that we're doing, 5 recordings that I choose when I feel like listening to the work at any given time. It may be one, it may be the other. I love them all. And, I know some people, especially since this is vocal music and operatic music, there are people who will be drooling over their favorite singer specifically. I don't have one. I don't have a favorite anything. I have bunches of favorites because I really think the interesting thing about collecting this music is hearing different interpretations and seeing, what different artists bring to the table. And boy, is this a piece where that qualifies. It's Strauss's 4 last songs, the Vier letzte Lieder. Yeah, boy, are they hot, right? I mean, incredibly gorgeous. The apotheosis of Strauss's writing for the soprano voice, and all the great sopranos who sing Strauss sing these songs and want to record them. I mean, you just have to. It's an imperative, because they're so beautiful. And one of the wonderful things about collecting the 4 last songs is that if you are not a classical opera or even classical music person necessarily, you can enjoy these songs because collectively they only take about 18 minutes to get through. And if you're curious what all the fuss is about people's undying devotion, some might say psychotic devotion to specific singers, you can listen to them do this piece. It's a fabulous comparison work because it doesn't take so much time. And because listening to it is such a thrill anyway, you're going to love it. So you can decide, what kind of interpretation suits you best. So with that said, my top 5 are number 1, Elisabeth Schwarzkopf with Otto Ackermann on Warner. Now, this is a mono recording, and Schwarzkopf did them twice. And the second one is even more famous. It's the George Szell recording. And it's George Szell, who was no slouch when it came to Strauss. He knew him well, and he was a dynamite conductor no matter what. But Schwarzkopf herself, if it's the voice you're going for, Schwarzkopf was in marginally better voice with Ackermann. And also, because she was in better voice, she wasn't trying quite so hard, because Schwarzkopf, could be unbelievably mannered. She wasn't in the Szell recording either. Let's face it, they're both excellent. They really are. And the Ackermann is in mono. It's from about 1953, I think, but very good mono. And, I originally imprinted in my Schwarzkopfian peregrinations on the Szell recording. And I had a friend who worked at a record store, Record Masters in Baltimore. For those of you who are Baltimoreans, you will remember it, in the Rotunda. And they had a classical annex. And he was a major, major opera guy. And I had the Schwarzkopf Szell. And I said, oh, it's really beautiful. He said, no, you got to hear the first one. And he was right. So I de-imprinted on Schwarzkopf and Szell marginally, because I still like it a lot. It's just not in my top 5, because Ackermann and Schwarzkopf is just for Schwarzkopf. And like I said, the sound is very good. It's not the kind of work that requires, stereoscopic panoply, surround, whatever. It's just lovely. So there's that. Next, Gundula, Janowitz and Karajan on Deutsche Grammophon. This is, in some respects, the sort of standard choice, the reference recording possibly, because first of all, Janowitz was a glorious Strauss soprano, and Karajan was a fabulous Strauss conductor. This is one of those cases where the sort of institutional choice is actually a very good one, because they were absolutely at their best. Karajan is a fantastic accompanist. He's got the Berlin Philharmonic with those gorgeous strings, and he's got a soprano who can sing the daylights out of the music. And it's an absolutely magnificent performance by any standard. It's absolutely marvelous. Next, here's the underdog performance, the one that nobody knows about, but that we've talked about here on this channel. And some people have actually written to me about this performance because it's just unbelievably stunning. Martina Arroyo and Günter Wand. It's on Profil, coupled with, I don't know, who knows what, a Mozart piano concerto or something else. I mean, it's just, it's one of these, it's sort of sitting there separately. Martina Arroyo was one of the great voices of the 20th century. There's no question about that. She was best known as a Verdi soprano, a sensational Verdi soprano. She didn't make all that many recordings. For some reason, she wasn't picked up by the major labels. But what exists, I mean, there's a lot of live stuff, of course, but what exists is uniformly superior, absolutely fabulous. And she had a naturalness and depth of timbre to the voice and range of color and comprehension of the text. I mean, she was second to none. And Günter Wand is conducting. I mean, Günter Wand is really, really good, a really serious conductor. And their recording of the four last songs is astounding. It's absolutely glorious. And I when I discovered it, I was stunned. I went on a Martina Arroyo kick a few years ago because I was rooting for the underdogs. I was annoyed that she wasn't getting the attention she deserved. And I was really curious about the discography. And I saw this and I scratched my bald head and said, and I didn't know she did the four last songs. And boy, does she sing the four last songs. Absolutely magnificent. Her September is just, when her soul takes flight, so do you. It's incredible. Next, well, we have to have, of course, Jessye Norman with Court Masur on Philips and Decca. A performance not without a certain amount of controversy because it's very, very slow. It's not your normal four last songs. It's slow and deliberate, and Norman is an incredible voice, and she sustains every single note like in a way with a richness and color that few have attempted, and it's just a narcissistic hog wallow of a performance. You just revel in the sheer sensuous sound of the whole thing. Really, it's an extraordinary effort, and it's a performance that has to be in my top 5 because of all the performances here. It's the most individual in a lot of ways in terms of tempo and phrasing. It does the most to give you a different perspective on these songs, and it's wholly successful in doing it. It's not like an experiment. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. No. It's amazing. And Im Abendrot is when she sings, "Is this perhaps death?" You're like, oh yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, it sure is. It's glorious, absolutely glorious. And last but not least, it's just one of those heartwarming things that goes to show you that there are still great singers making great recordings of great music. And you may not know their names, but they are incredible. Finnish soprano Soile Isokoski, who specializes in Mozart and Strauss. That's sort of a niche for a lot of great sopranos. And with Marek Janowski on Ondine. She is one of the great Strauss sopranos who ever sang Strauss. She's made 2 recordings of Strauss Lieder, one of which includes the incredible 3 hymns, not this one, but the other one. If you don't know the 3 hymns, they're sort of like the 4 last songs, only more so. They're amazing works of similar cloth. So if you don't know the 3 hymns, you should hear them with Soile Isokoski. But her 4 last songs is also exquisite. She's another singer like Arroyo, who has a natural affinity for this kind of music, it seems. And her way of phrasing a melody, and Strauss is not easy to do because they go on and on and on, and they're ornamented. The intervals are weird, and but she just makes it all sound perfectly easy and effortless, and she's smart, and she can articulate the text so that you understand the words if you care. I mean, some people don't care, and I don't blame them. You just listen to the music and you know, just sort of dissolve into it. But she's magnificent. She's absolutely magnificent. And these are my 5. And I have to say, whenever I decide to listen to the 4 last songs, I have a hard time deciding. A really hard time. It is not easy to figure out which one I want, but it's one of these for sure. So although I listen to others, I collect them. I listen to all of them. But this is my personal pleasure. And feel free to tell me yours. Up to 5. Not more than 5, but up to 5. Feel free. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.